guys are so funny. You're trying to get me to do this stupid shit. And
She just whispered, "I'm a bad bitch" for anyone who didn't hear. Stop. 420.
I'm lit at Disney.
And the kids asleep in the bath.
There we go. A ball sack station.
That's what a business owner looks like.
Welcome to Tattoo Homewreckers, a podcast where we talk about tattoos, life, and everything in between. My name is Lou, and this is my very best snacky friend,
Hello.
Callie.
I'm eating
You
crackers.
can call her Callista, because you don't know her like that.
Yeah. What the fuck? How dare you guys call me Callie? And her name's Callie Luz.
Yeah, Callie Luz. Well, I like to say your name is Cal, and Caboose puts the I in Callie Luz.
That's cute.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's what I like to say.
Yeah, he can
And
have-
I introduced you as Cal.
I think it's fair because then it's 3 letters per business owner and 1 letter for him.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's very fair.
Yeah.
Puts the I in Callie Luz.
He
That's
puts
so
the
funny.
I in Callie Luz.
I'm gonna let you take a
Cheers
sip.
with our coffee.
Cheers for real,
Cheers.
my guy. Cheers for real, for real.
So we are gonna talk about our I didn't sip, so that's bad luck. We're gonna talk about our grand opening for Callie Luz NZ. We talked a little bit about it, and I just choked on coffee. Jesus Christ. A little bit about it on last week's episode.
Yes.
But we didn't get to do like a full deep dive. Do you have your drawings for your food
Yes, I do.
on that notepad?
Absolutely, I
Perfect.
do.
So if you're on YouTube, you'll see these like pretty little drawings. Kelly doesn't know what the fuck I want to talk about, but I want to go into like the deep like dive of.
We gotta start with our genders first, though.
Hold up, I gotta give them a little like preview of like what the episode's gonna be.
Okay,
ma'am.
Yeah, you're right.
This is like the housekeeping on the top of the episode.
Housekeeping.
So I want to talk about like the deep dive of like what all goes into like an event prep, and then the actual event. So it's not just like, oh, we had a great time, we're really grateful, which we are.
Yeah, but as literally only 2 people, and maybe sometimes 3, doing an entire event alone, it's crazy.
Yes. And so like the stuff that we do and then the stuff that we learned. Also, if you see this eyelash that's hella droopy, that's because it's like 3 days old and I can't completely get it off because it's stuck on there. And I don't
You're
want
not
to rip
trying
my
to rip them
actual
off.
eyelashes off.
Exactly.
So if I'm hard to look at, just look at her face. It's way worse.
Oh. And that'll make it better when you look back at her face, and then
Or
it'll
I'll
be
just do
fine.
this.
It'll even out.
Okay, so on that note,
Yes.
what does your gender feel like today?
Oh, my gender feels like. Ooh, what a good question. I like that I brought it up and I still don't remember. Oh, my gender feels like a lotion that has too much perfume in it.
Ooh.
Yeah. And like it's a good lotion, like you love what it does to your skin. It's like the perfect amount of shine, glimmer, but like not sticky after you apply it. But it's just like there's too much smell going on. Like let's just like not do that, you know?
Yeah. I feel that way about it's the opposite though. The body wash we have, the like I think it's Dove. I love what it does to my skin. It feels so nice.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that smell?
What's happening?
It's just
clinical.
like yes.
Yeah.
But also a little bit baby powder, but like not good hints of baby powder
No.
where you're just like every time I take a shower, I think about the fact that I just need to go in and add the rose oil that we have that we like use for aftercare. I need to add that to it. And I think about that every time I take a shower. I'm like, you just need to add perfume to this because it feels so good. But like, what the fuck, dude? Why do you smell that way?
I know. Some of them are weird like that. But what does your gender feel like?
I feel like if you took a peep, I'm always like a combination of things. I'm never like just a thing. If you took a peep and then gave it like the base of those cars that like you pull back and then they go, you know what I'm talking about, the little race cars? I'm not the car. I'm a peep that has
those
like,
tiny,
feet for wheels.
I love those.
That's what I feel like.
Oh, that's
so
great.
like, you like pull me back and then I'm just running around.
What does
and then you gotta pull me back.
Caboose say whenever we're at theme parks?
His feet
are
for
wheels?
Yeah, his feet are wheels. That's actually, I came up with that term.
Did you?
To get him to go fast because he has one pace unless we are at a theme park. And then we are completely opposite people. I get really excited at theme parks, but I also tend to like drag ass a lot. Typically because I'm high as a kite. It's amazing.
It's one or the other.
But but I tend to go really slow, and he gets really excited, and he is never a fast walker. He is a straight man pace till the day he dies, except for at like Disney and Universal. And then his feet are wheels.
Yeah.
And his whole body stays like like upper body stays completely level and his feet are just going. It's hilarious.
It's super funny.
So then he has to yell at people when we're going places.
Warp speed.
Like at each one of us, he's like, "Your feet are wheels."
And we're just like, yeah.
And you know what that means. You're going fast.
Yeah. Dang, good combination of things.
Yeah. So, and I'm a pink peep.
Oh, just
like the bunny.
Just so that way people
not the
know.
duck. I'm a bunny.
A bunny.
Pink peepy.
You don't fuck
bunny.
around with like is it a duck or is it a chick?
Same difference.
Whatever, same thing. Duckling, chick.
A water.
Speaking of combination chicken. Of things, Jade recently sent me a DM of like, a new gender descriptor just dropped, and it was snakeskin cowboy boots on roller skates. Ooh, so they weren't just snakeskin cowboy boots; they were on top of the like roller.
Yes.
Like the wheels. It's so funny. So
yeah,
funny.
that's perfect. That's a perfect description for me because I'm a peep on wheels.
Yeah, you guys somehow channeled into that.
Yeah, we're wheelie fuckers.
Wheelie fuckers.
Oh man, I miss my Heelys so bad.
I miss Heelys too. Home Depot was the best place to ride your Heelys in. Bunnings would be a good place to ride Heelys in. I bet.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We should see if we can get Heelys.
Anyways, event prep.
So yes, event prep. I like that you're just gonna snack through this.
Sorry, I can't stop.
You don't have to apologize. I'm saying I like it.
Good. I've got biscuit food in front of me.
Don't stop snacking.
Damn. Okay.
Ever.
Keep eating. It's good for you.
Yes, it's good for you to eat. Okay, so I'm going to ask a couple questions at the top. Yes. And then we'll kind of like dive into it.
Oh, great. You have a whole format.
I do. Work. I'm so ready for this. Y'all, I don't. I'm just making this all on the fly.
Had me fooled. I was like, there's a format? We normally just get in here and then dick around for an hour.
What is your advice that you would give if someone's like, hey, we're a small business and we want to throw an event? What advice would you give?
Promote.
I'm impressing myself with this.
That is really good. You want to do a scheduled promotion. So I'm talking about from your day that you're going to do the event. I need you for like 3 weeks out is a little far, but still good. 2 weeks out is like pretty far. As far as your first post announcing it, it should be between that 2 to 3 week point. So that way it gives people time to prepare and know like, okay, there's a potential event that I'm potentially going to. And from then on, when you're like, okay, just introducing the idea, you want to build the hype up from there.
Yes.
So from your 2 to 3 week out, I need you to make posts at that 2 week mark. I need you to make a post at that 1 week mark. I need to make a post 3 days before. I need you to make a post the day before to remind people that it is still going on. Because for anybody, I can be socially anxious. I know it doesn't seem that way when people come and talk to me, but like I do have like a lot of social anxiety, especially for things that like it's my first time going. I don't know what to expect. And then if events don't like kind of tell you what to expect, that anxiety can build up. You don't want social anxiety to build up for your event. You want social excitement to build up for your event. So you want people to kind of know what to prepare. What are they going to eat? What is the dress code like? What time does it start? Where will it be?
I love it.
What are the things that are there going to be things that people are going to do? That is also really important.
Yeah. I'm still salty about the fact that I did not know that when we went on our tour of Hobbiton that we would be quizzed the whole time. And I understand that it's just the tour guide's way of like getting us to interact. But like if nobody wanted to answer the quiz questions, pivot, boo, pivot.
Yeah.
Everyone's just giving you the silent treatment. And then like when we are making jokes, no one's laughing. So like don't stop asking us questions. Just tell us facts.
Well, and here's the thing. Like, if you know that I'm going to make a joke and you know the crowd is not going to like it because I've already made 2 jokes before that the crowd did not like, but I'm laughing, then maybe just don't give me that opportunity to be the comedian. Don't give me an opportunity to do that.
It caused you. I personally, because I get like a lot of anxiety with like pop quizzes and shit.
Yes.
I don't like a random like here I'm going to ask you questions you're not prepared for. So I've
never once felt dumber in my life because I didn't know we were supposed to know.
No.
Like I'm a fan, but then like when people ask me stuff, my mind immediately goes blank.
Exactly. Like, well, and that's the thing is I was like, oh, I knew the answer to all of that because I've like listened to the books, watched the movies, know entirely too much about the entire lore. But the moment you ask me a question, I don't think that I'm the biggest fan because I'm like, oh yeah, I like it.
Right.
But if I get it wrong, Judgy McGillicuddy over here is going to fucking judge me.
Too much pressure.
So it's too much pressure. And then I freak out and I'm not going to answer. So like, I think that's where like telling people like this is what to expect is so like vital.
Oh, absolutely. And like, I think too that like with a lot of promoting events, I try to ask myself, like, what is something that, like, I would like to see from an event? What is something that I would want to know about? You know, what is something that, like, if you were going to have, like, a feature there that, like, you know that people are going to think is cool, then, like, promote the fuck out of that. Promote the Barbie box. Promote, like, the fact that you're going to do games. Promote the fact that, like, you have a star performer coming and this is what their work looks like and this is, like, you know, what they do. It's really important to ask yourself a question of, like, okay, like, how do I get myself excited about this event? Yes. Because people can also read that in your post. If you're not excited for the event, people can fucking tell. So make sure that you also stay excited. I'm going to flip that question over to you because mine is, like, very much, like, media promotion-esque. What about you? Do you have any tips or tricks for people who are...
A Facebook event is crucial.
Absolutely.
Because then people can save that. So I think a Facebook event is, like, a really good idea. And then I would also say about, like, really honestly, once you start thinking, hey, I want to do an event, sit down and write a very detailed list of, like, what you want to have there, how long it takes to order it. Make sure you put in, like, cushion days, and then, like, what you need for it. So, like, if you're, in our case, we make all of our own merch. So if you're making your own merch, how many days do you need to make this? Like, what do you already have in stock? What can you get ahead of? And creating, like, a really structured timeline of knowing, like, this is what I'm gonna do, and building in lots of cushion on the end. So that way at the end, you're not, you know, I mean, we will do as much as we can because we fill time. So even when we start earlier, then we just make more shit, which, like, in this case was great because we made a shit ton of keychains. I think in total I made 154 keychains and we brought back 3.
Yeah.
So, like, and, you know, this is not it wasn't what I would deem, like, a huge, like, volume. There weren't thousands of people or hundreds of people, but there were definitely over 100 people that came throughout the day. But it was not like a convention where I'm like, hey, we're getting 1,000 people through the door each day.
Yeah, we're going to get slammed every single day, so you better be ready.
So, like, make sure. But it is that, like, making sure that you have, like, enough time and structure to your setup so that way it doesn't feel as overwhelming.
Never assume that just because you've done a project once that it'll take the same amount of time this time around as well.
No.
I think that, like, when it comes to a lot of event prep, everything in life is improv, right? So you got to learn how to pivot. You have to learn how to work with the crowd. And just because you've done keychains a million times before, you never know. This might be the time where you have a bump in the road with the laser.
Oh, yeah. Well, this time we'd already, like, made mugs. We made them when we were in Reno. And then I couldn't find the files and it took me over 3 hours to find the files. And then when I looked at them, I was like, none of you are speaking to me. I don't want to make any of you. I want, like, new stuff. So I ended up making all new mugs. I think literally one mug was, like, the same design that we had in Reno. And then everything else was new. Because I was like, none of this is calling to me.
Right.
But I'd spent all that time because I needed the templates for it. And I thought that, like, oh, this will take me 1 evening and it ended up taking me 3.
Yeah. And honestly, at least I think that's the beauty of the pivot, though, because you could have easily been like, okay, well, I mean, I spent all that time looking, so I might as well just print out these old ones. But no, you decided not to settle for that feeling.
I think that's that case again of, like, I want to be excited. I only want to sell stuff that I would want to buy. And because, like, I genuinely, the same thing with our keychains, same thing with the bracelets you make, I get really excited to see what people grab.
Me too.
Because, like, that
tells me a lot about them.
Yes. Yeah. It's super fun for me. Like, oh, which one did you get? And I think because, like you said, they can tell we're excited. Then that also helps them be more excited.
Absolutely.
I did realize one thing that we could do, though, that I think would be good for the next event. Y'all are just getting, like, real time fucking the aftermath, like, business, of us. Talking business here is if we would have done, like, a ask us questions about the event, like, story.
Oh, dang, yeah.
Because that would have also given people opportunities that any questions that we possibly didn't cover.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then, like, please let us know, and then we'll respond.
And that way we know to respond to, like, any questions that someone might have.
Totally.
Because I would like that for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Open
the
like,
platform for people.
Because I get weird, like I said, specifically about, like, clothes, because I'm always cold, but then I don't know if a venue is going to be hot. And then if I get hot, I have a complete breakdown because if you've been here for any period of time, you know I have a lot of sensory problems. And then I always am freaked out of, like, wait, what am I supposed to wear? and like it would help me, and like we always give a dress code, and then the drag shows that we're sponsoring also provide dress codes, which I love because then it like you get to feel like you belong. But like we went to a couple other events throughout the month and they did not have dress codes, and then I was like, I don't know what the fuck we're supposed to wear. And we're like having a deep dive through like previous event posts and be like, did people wear this? What do people wear?
Yeah.
Whereas like for those, even I would have loved for them to like put out in the community, be like, hey, what do you guys want to know? And it creates that like interaction
Absolutely.
like between the community.
Well, yeah. I think too, it is a lot for a lot of people, it is jarring to like send a business a message outright. So when you open the platform like that, then it's like, it makes it a lot easier. Yeah. So that's good to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that being said, your advice, what's one thing you'd want to change?
About how we do events?
Yes. Like something that you're like, man, I wish we could do this. And it's just like not, and it can be like fantasy. It could be like, we would hire 50 people to do all the work for us. It could be anything.
I think that like, yeah, I feel like having some more support around collecting content would be a lot better.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. Cause it's tough when like, you know, I'm like part of the front face of the business, but I can't always be the camera woman all the time, you know? So that's really hard. Yeah. So if I could hire someone to help, like that would be the thing. And I'm really particular though. And that's also part of the reason why that's a little bit unachievable for me. Is because like I've had help before and I have been like very let down by the content I've received. Yeah. I'm not gonna say names or anything like that, but like there's been moments like that where I'm like, I shouldn't have like trusted you with this kind of thing. Yeah. And so that a little bit is like that like toxic independence, but most of it I think is like I really need you to see the vision of the brand. And like, you know, I've gotten to a point now where I know that my videography is like very niche in terms of me. Like people can tell when I've recorded something and when I've edited something, which
that's
is
why I laugh internally every time you're like, well, you should do that. And I'm like, not on the business page. Yeah. You're going to cancel me if I do that.
I'm not going to cancel you.
You will with your look.
No,
you
but
will
like
give me that specific look.
If you post on your story and you tag the page and I can repost it, that would be great. But like, I think for the most part during events, that's where it gets hard because we're already doing so much that like it's hard to record content on top of that. So that would be the thing that I would change.
Absolutely.
How about you?
I would probably say the same, like support during, which would just be to get footage.
Yeah, totally.
Because like I like doing like the stuff beforehand. I like doing the stuff after. I don't do well with like people before or after helping, especially after, because like I have to pack stuff up and know where stuff is.
Totally.
And like the last time we let people like help us break down, we ended up stealing shit from the venue, and then I had fucking felt terrible, and then I have to go take stuff back to be like, this doesn't belong to us. And so like the tearing down part is to me, like I oftentimes, like, you know, this, I do that oftentimes by myself. Because it is a very like just it's like cleaning up after a party for me.
It's kind of like
it's a decompression time. It's also like a gratitude practice.
It's also like packing your own suitcase, right?
Yes.
Like if you had someone else pack your suitcase after a trip, like it's kind of scary because it's like, A, where are all my things? And B, did you get all my things?
Yes.
And C, are there some things from the hotel still in there that aren't mine?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and it lets me see, because like inevitably when you have, you know, 100, 200 people like through a like small space, like, you know, stuff is going to get stained, stuff is going to get damaged. Like, and it lets me take stock of like, okay, this needs to be replaced. This needs to be mended. Okay. I need to put like the stain solvent on this. Like, what do I need to do with it? And also prepare for next time to be like, hey, now I know that like, maybe we don't serve this food, or maybe we don't serve this beverage because that like created messes. Yeah. And so like, it lets me really like have a full like scope of like, this is what worked, this didn't work. Whereas like when people do help me like break down, I don't get to know all those details. So that's a huge part of the process for me is like that part. Yeah. And like then the beforehand, like you with the content where you're like, but we've had people like collect content that was quite frankly worse than mine. So that was impressive. But
yeah, and it's heartbreaking when you get in like, you know, you put so much like trust in that thing, and then it's only until after the event and after everything's packed and said and done, when I'm editing, that I realize that I can't use this footage. Yes. And that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. And that's how I feel when people like help us like making merch, because everyone's always like, oh, I want to help. And it's like, thank you so much. But like if I make a mistake, I'm not going to be upset by it. But even like with Caboose, like when he does like laser, like I just like full bore, like never do a test strip. You just go on it. That's it. Like I can't explain that I'm like, this is the correct settings for the laser. And I don't know nearly as much about lasers as he does. Like he gets me like set up on like how it operates. And then I'm like, vibe base. These are the numbers.
That's part of the magic. That's why people love the keychain so much.
Yeah, it's just vibes.
It's magic.
But like when he does it, he spends like an hour or so like calibrating, and I'm like, bro, you're wasting my merch. Like you're like trying to get this perfect, and perfection's based on vibes, baby. Like that's it. And so like
that's a true creative in you, where it's like no, like you can't like lasso it in that far, otherwise it gets pushed to a point of inauthenticity.
Yeah,
right? Like
well, and then he spends like an hour lasering one thing, and then I'm like, so now what do we do with this like tumbler that's like not usable anymore because like you've lasered 1,000 like markings on it to like figure out the exact correct laser. And then I'm over here just show me what button to hit, and then I can just fuck with it.
Yeah.
So even that, where it's like, this is the person I trust the most, and I'm technically using his equipment. I guess we paid for it, so our equipment. But like, I definitely am like a solo creature with like the like before and after.
Totally. Yeah.
But I would say like during an event,
that's how I am. Like
because we did have a friend that could collect fucking phenomenal content.
Absolutely. And that content was great. And it was so reliable. And I'm like, even though it wasn't like me and you could tell it wasn't shot by me, it was still like up to par. You know, like it was still like excellent.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem is like I have yet to find someone who collects excellent footage like that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's just like a little bit of a untethered goal. You know what I mean? That's something that like organically, if it were to happen, great. But like, I'm not trying to pay someone to do that because again, it's too vulnerable, and also like, I don't know. I just don't.
Dude, I'll interview the shit out of people and be like, let me see your video skills. I need to see how well you can shoot me. Because if you can shoot me the way she can shoot me, you're hired.
There you go.
If you can handle this, you're hired.
Yeah, it's come event day is a day that like the both of us are in full host mode.
Yeah.
So it's hard to do admin stuff like that.
Yeah.
It is fucking difficult. So yeah. Damn.
So.
That was really good. What question do I have for you? As far as like planning goes, the structure of planning an event, is there like a to-do list that you would break down? So like your to-do list would be like, like take stock, or would it be like scope out the venue, or like what would the top like I would say 3 to 5 things that people should do in order, you think?
So I think the first one is like, again, not to sound like ridiculous, but it's like vibes, like which by that I mean, what feeling do you want people to achieve? Because every single time you do an event, same as like a space, like everything revolves around what do you want them to feel. So like the last event we had was I just wanted it to be opening, welcoming. So I specifically like put stuff in the hallway. So when people come up the stairs, the first thing you saw was like the food and the drinks. So you knew like, okay, so this is friendly, it's open. All of that's out here, like outside of the shop. Because then that kind of shows the trusting nature of like all of this stuff is for free. No one's watching you take it. Just like grab it. And then I put the other like free goodies that we give away in that same space. And then in that space was also our like tattoo, like our stuff that flash. There you go. That's the word. But it was designed to be so it's like opening and welcoming. And then I wanted you, like, I specifically was like, you're going to be out here. So not in like a weird controlling way, but I put you out there because I was like, you're going to be able to be like open, friendly. And then I put myself inside behind like the desk. So that way it was a little bit more formal. But so that way when you came in the space, somebody also wasn't hovering, because when they were exploring the space, I didn't want either one of us to be like over them or behind them at any point. But then you knew that there was a Barbie specifically in that one box that felt safe and good and could greet you. So they got the greeting when you first came like around the hallway to that part, and then they got a greeting again to come inside the shop.
Yeah, totally.
But it was about like creating like lots of light, lots of space. So people just felt welcome. So I knew that the whole point for me was just to feel like really welcome and safe. And so I designed it around that. So you have to like keep that keyword, like what you have in mind. And I do the same thing with like when we're designing stuff at the house, like when we're hosting, is like, okay, I want this to feel cozy. So I'll bring out lots of blankets and I'll lower the lighting and I'll make sure that like everything like goes with that. And I think like where those things go wrong is like we've been to like events like that where you're like, this kind of feels like off kilter, and it feels off kilter when you ask someone like, okay, well, what was your takeaway from it? And if it's not consistent, then you didn't nail that.
Totally. It's kind of like, I like that you start out with your list, like, because so many people would think that like, oh, you need to think about like what you're going to buy first, or like what.
No, because everything focuses around that.
Yeah. It's very focused on the experience of the people that you're hosting, which is great, because I think that's not where a lot of people's brains go. Yeah. Their brains kind of go with like, this is like the theme of it, but not the feeling of it.
Yeah. And the theme can like help like dictate the feeling, but you really want to start with what feeling you want people to have first, because then when you're going through, like I will oftentimes when I'm laying out a space, I will always think about it from the client's perspective. So like when we decided where to put the Barbie box even, I was like, okay, well, this area technically makes more sense. But the issue with that is that then we're going to run into like when people first turn into the shop, it's going to make the shop look like shorter and smaller. And I want, once again, this to be a big open space where it feels very like just free. And it's the same way that like I photograph the shop. So like the amount of times that day I heard, oh, wow, it's smaller than I thought it would be. Like it photographs really big. I was like, thank you. That's how I painted it. Like, and that's how I shoot the shop. So that way you do feel, because when it's not full of other people and it's just us and our clients, it's plenty big enough space. But like, it is about having that pivotal like feeling. And then it's about creating that feeling in every spot. So you walk through all the areas in which your guests or like clients are going to be in. So, and I always start with like the first impressions are like the most important, same as your last impression. So like making sure that it's why like the chair was in the hallway down there, because it was like that first little indicator of like, okay, I'm going to the right spot. There's like cute little chair. But then on the way out, you get that like, oh yeah, see, they're like cute, comfy, safe, like a place to rest. And it just gives that like messaging throughout. So it's just asking yourself the whole time that you're making decisions when you lay it out, is this going to create a welcoming space? Like when we design for drag shows, I like to go off the theme. So like we're doing brown and bougie. And so I know that I'm like, okay, I need this experience to feel luxe and bougie. So what things, how are we going to lay this out? How are we going to decorate it to create this feeling? And that determines the layout. And then from the layout is then when you start like decorating. But I would definitely say it's the feeling, the layout, the decorating, and then comes like all the food, which again is meant to feel like we went with finger food because you didn't have to like sit down. You could just carry a small plate and eat. And that creates a more like open, fluid state.
Totally. Yeah. It creates better pacing. Like when you think of a pacing for the event, like you want to make sure that it's all like the right kind of song pace, and not like crazy techno, just random bass drops everywhere.
Well, that was the whole reason I had the Dance the Night Away, the Barbie like theme song on fucking repeat next to my head for 6 hours because I wanted to create it where people could hang out inside the shop, but they also weren't hanging out inside the shop for too long. So that would like indicate them, like as the song would wrap, you would typically get people in that one specific space for about 1.5 songs. And then they'd realize that song's repeating, and it like internally is like, okay, I'm going to leave this area because I've seen what I've come to see and now I can dip. And so it just kind of creates like a sense of like flow with it as well. And definitely for me, after a while, I was like, you're gonna have to tune this song out, you're gonna fucking hate it.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, I'm surprised that we don't hate the Barbie album already.
I fucking love it.
I love it too.
Every time.
Never gets old, thank God. But I didn't listen to that for 6 hours.
Okay. So for content, do you have that same thing?
How
do you like what's your list? How do you know what to collect?
Oh gosh. I mean, if the biggest piece of advice I could ever give anybody who owns a business is keep all of your B-reel footage, even if you don't think you're going to need it anymore, because it's really easy. Like I could have deleted all of my footage from America if I wanted to, knowing that like the studio is going to look different and like the lighting's going to be different or whatever the fuck, but that's still you. Like that's still shit that like regardless of you changing venues or changing countries, keep all of that shit because it'll come in handy. Because it's not like I'm going to create a charcuterie board just for the sake of collecting B-roll footage for the studio when I know that we have charcuterie boards that we've done in the past where you could recycle and reuse that footage.
That you've done in the past.
That I've done in the past.
All the catering.
I do all the catering. So anybody who didn't know.
Yeah. And
I
this
do all
time
the catering.
you made all of it because we didn't even work with like other companies this time.
Nope. I made everything that was there. So all the muffins that you guys ate, that was all me. I didn't make the crackers, but I did lay them out pretty for you. Cut all the cheese, but
You did not make the cheese.
Did not make the cheese. I did cut her up, so there is that. But yeah, no. As far as like footage, is kind of the same thing. Make sure that you, whatever vibe that you want to bring, like if you want to be the cool kid at school, then like present that. Be like a little bit more mysterious. Be a little bit more withdrawn. That's not my vibe. That's not what we want to do with the studio. We want to be out, open, friendly. Like, we want to be very easily approachable. So that's always what you're going to see with Callie Lou's content. I feel so gross saying the word content out loud. But yeah, that's what you'll always see. So kind of consider the vibe of like what you're doing, who you're doing it with. If you're collaborating with another business, make sure that you're also playing well with their vibe. I think that's really important. Because you don't want either business to outshine each other. But you do, if you are the primary hosts, that does still need to be readable. So a lot of it comes down to like subtext. What's the subtext of what you're posting? What's the subtext of the song that you have it with? How are people going to react to this? How are those other business owners going to react to it if you're collaborating? If not, then don't even worry about it. But yeah, just focus on like if you were the person being invited to this event, try and focus on like what you would like to see. Yeah. What would quell your anxieties?
Well, and hopefully you're inviting people that like your stuff. So if you're thinking like, oh, I don't want to pander to people, and I'm not saying that's what you're saying,
no, you're good.
But like, yeah, I design stuff and like we answer questions of like, you know, part of why we always give a dress code is because I need a dress code. And you like a dress code.
Yeah.
And
I think theme parties are so fun.
You really like a start time, end time.
Yes.
You love an end time. So we always have end times. Like, this is start time, end time. We don't do the like until
late. Like, no, I don't do that shit.
You're like, what is the definition of late?
Yeah.
Are we sure that's not early for people?
Yeah. I love like being like, all right, it's 4:00.
Bye, bitches.
Yeah. Baby's tired.
I had another question. What was your favorite part of the day?
Oh, my favorite part of the day. Oh my goodness. Honestly, just like having so many genuine conversations with people. Not to say that I didn't have that in the United States, but the culture out here is very different. I think that like there is a lot more bouncing back and forth with each other in terms of conversation, a lot more rallying. In the West Coast, I'm not calling out my West Coast clients, by the way. And don't worry if you've done this before.
It's West Coast culture.
West Coast culture, it's very much like let's talk about me. So I've had like lots of conversations where I'm trying to be friendly and kind of talk about my experience, but then it's not a rally. It's always about that person, which is fine. Like if I know that that's how the conversation is going to go, then I can play ball that way. But with here, I never had that feeling with anybody. It was very much of a rally than a
I find it's like the opposite for me, that like when I will give like a short answer, they're like digging for more information. Like, no, tell me more. And I'm like, oh.
Like they're genuinely interested in it.
I gave you like the Cliff Notes version because I was like, okay, but tell me about yourself. And they're like, no, I want to know. So where in the States? Like where before the States? Like, it's very much like you said, that like volleying back and forth.
It really is. Yeah. It's a lot more of a, I don't want to say fair, but like, a fair, equal conversation. Yeah. That's probably my favorite part is, talking to everyone.
Nice.
How about you?
I think my favorite part was watching people's reactions to be like as they walked in the shop.
Yeah, was it good?
Yeah, it was so much fun. And then just hearing conversations where people were like, they would come up and like tell me, but like hearing them amongst themselves or like, I haven't seen a shop like this before, was really like validating. Because again, like we did get that in the States. Now, obviously this shop is a lot more like Barbie Dream House, because business has like changed as we've embraced that more.
Absolutely.
And like the evolution of us, but it was like so much fun watching people like record videos.
Oh my gosh.
And like they're getting B-reel, which should have probably told me, hey, you too should record some videos. But it was so nice to
like
just
I said,
be able to.
we're in host mode though. It's so different when you're in host mode. And like, here's the thing, I'm the social media person. So at the end of the day, it should have been me.
No, it shouldn't have.
But I'm like so busy.
Don't put that on you.
I'm so busy greeting people, but then also serving them drinks and then also making sure that they know where to go and what food to get and how to do things.
And you're telling them about the raffles and the...
Dude, yeah. So it's just like a lot. There's just too much.
But like, yeah, that was probably my favorite part. It's
That's
like
awesome.
Getting to see people's reactions. Because especially as someone who likes like designing spaces and building spaces and to see like how comfortable people felt.
Totally.
That was beautiful to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's gorgeous.
Are you going to show these people your fun menu?
I can.
I'm surprised that never came through when we were talking about how to
do things?
Yeah. That you draw pictures?
Yeah, so when you're catering things, I'm obviously a very visual person, but I like to do little sketches of everything that I'm serving before I like actually like do anything, because then it kind of puts the picture together of like how are things going to lay out as far as food goes. So if you do like a cute little sketch of everything and see how everything plays nice together, or on the flip side of that, if something's kind of out of place, it's really easy to see that tiny little picture and then nix it from the menu.
Yes.
So that's what I do whenever I finalize the menu for any of our events. I draw little pictures of everything and then I nix where I need to and I add where I need to as well. Least favorite part about the day. I can start if you want.
Oh, sure. I wanted to talk about the food real fast.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So if y'all were here last week and you heard her baking her first apple pie and she had a complete breakdown.
Yeah.
And yes, that was her having a complete breakdown. Very composed, beautiful. That's her breakdown. About
y'all are so lucky.
It was not burnt. It was fine.
You know what's funny?
It was great. It tastes great. It's delicious.
It does
this
taste
bitch
really
made a apple pie for the very first time and nailed it.
Thank you so much. It turned out really yummy. I'm honestly very impressed with myself because again, I'm not a baker. I've never been a baker, but I feel like
you are now.
Here it's a lot easier to bake. It is a lot easier to bake.
Yes, it's so much better to bake in like lower elevation and also with humidity.
100%. Baking in Reno was fucking difficult.
It was awful.
Yeah. So.
Yes.
Least favorite part about the day for me, 3 out of the 4 dishes that I was supposed to finish that day were not working out.
But that's what turned into apple pie.
One of those dishes I had to completely... So just so you know, when I say events are like improv and like event day is literally like improv, you just have to roll with the punches. So whatever shit that's being thrown at you, just remember, breathe. Everything's going to turn out okay. Just don't panic. And one of the dishes had I had to completely nix because I was not serving that to people. My caramel didn't set on the apples. The apples were like soggy. They weren't great. Threw them in the freezer. Was like, I'm gonna make an apple pie later. I had already known. I was like, I can't do that. Yeah. Not gonna do that. Nix that dish. The other 2 dishes that like weren't working out, I had tried literally I think I was fighting with them for a solid 30 minutes to an hour until I finally was like, just breathe, take a beat. Let's finish a dish that we can finish, and then let's get back to it. And then I was able to do that. But that also had meant that I was at the studio an hour later than I wanted to be. And that's like panic inducing, you know? But again, like I said, roll with the punches. Some event days go so smoothly as far as prep time goes that we've had event days where we're just standing there awkwardly for 30 minutes before the event starts.
Just like, oh my God, we have to have forgotten something, right?
We nailed it, right? Yeah. Like we nailed it to a point where like, there has to be something huge that we missed. And then some event days, it's literally down to the wire. I was cutting out Flash 15 minutes before people came. Like some of them are just like fucked up. So
I put out Flash that was not finished. It was just sketches. And I was like, well, I'll finish it later this week.
Yeah.
Which I will. So, yeah. And I think like that is genuinely like
the best
what happens about like Flash days or about like events is that like we didn't see each other at all. So when we
didn't hang out at all that day.
We went and like had dinner with friends after the fact. And it was like so funny because we were walking over and I was like, hi bitch, I haven't seen you in 48 hours.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
We live together, but we have just been ships in the night, so busy doing our own thing.
Exactly. And like the night before I was like stuck in the kitchen and you were stuck out here doing merch.
Yeah.
Like,
and then during the event I was stuck inside.
We don't always get to hang out, you guys. We're like still working.
Yeah. And then you were stuck out in the hallway.
Totally. Yeah. Hilarious. That was really funny.
So the least favorite part?
Least favorite part.
Probably just that it was one of those like rough ones, like that. Otherwise, like I would have liked to have gotten more like merch out, but I'm also pretty zen with that now to be like, well, it'll come out when it comes out.
Totally. For me, it comes in waves, and that's how I know my mental health is getting better, because I typically would be like taking myself over the coals, like raking myself over the coals for not collecting footage. I would be so fucking mad at
it's so
me.
much funnier.
Oh yeah, it's way funnier.
It's
the fact
so
that
much funnier that like later we get to just fucking pretend and be like, oh yeah, you remember our very first like grand opening here, and we
didn't
got
take video.
Fucking 3 videos,
literally. Like, and like me from a year ago, I would have been so like just inconsolably angry at myself, and now it's like I get mad, but then like it comes in waves where I'm like, but that's just what happens, and that's okay.
That also means you had a great time and that there were tons of people, because the alternative to that is like, I'm not saying
I had too much time to take footage.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Like, okay, so you weren't slammed the whole time, like you weren't busy, it was just us sitting in the shop by ourselves, like
True.
That would have been fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Whereas this was so much better because we got to see so many different people. And the amount of people when, I guess this was also on like my favorite part, was the amount of people that said, hey, like we came out just for this. And it was so sweet because like, you don't have to say that. Like I was just like, hey, are you having a good day? And they're like, yeah, we came out just for this. And then I really got to sit in a place of like, I love being a small business owner. I always have. I've known ever since I was little, I wanted to have my own business.
For sure.
And I've been lucky enough that all of my adult life, I have like, I had, time in Reno where I did work for other shops, but otherwise like I've always had my own business. And it's a great place to be when and this sounds so cheesy, but they talk about how small businesses support each other. And because we had our events, these people then came down to Gray Street. And if you aren't familiar with the area, it's a really cute little like downtown with like different restaurants and different shops.
Yeah. It's adorable.
And I would be asking people like, oh, like, are you guys going to do anything for the rest of the day? And people are like, oh yeah, we're going to go right down like, like literally 3 stores over and get lunch. Or they're like, we're going to hit the op shops, which if you don't know what that is, because you're in the States or in another country, that's a charity shop.
Thrift shop.
Yeah, thrift shop. So like it was really a case in which like our business is then also helping generate business for other small businesses.
That was very cool.
And that's like one of my favorite like symbiotic relationships that happens with small businesses is that like us going in really does help the entire community, because then people that are coming to visit us are then spending money with other small businesses.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, and I know that that's like all cheesy and gay and shit, but whatever, I love it.
No, that's awesome. I think it's great, and it's also like it makes me feel really good about like being a part of the community, because that's community right there.
Yes,
and it was really hard to do that in Reno. I think that even like with the events that we were doing, people still weren't like going down to Reno Public Market and like having a drink afterwards.
Well, everything's too far. It's too spread out.
You're committed to, and I've tried to explain this to my New Zealand friends so much that like, when you're going out in the States, you're committed to driving, you're committed to taking an Uber, and it doesn't matter if like, it's only when like you're like bar hopping in Midtown, and even then like we did like the wine walk, and there were several points that were hella far from each other.
Oh yeah,
right. That we were like, damn, this is like a solid 15-minute walk away from
one
each
way.
bar.
Yes.
One way.
Yeah.
Like this one bar that you have to hit to do the whole wine walk is like 15 minutes away from everything. And then there was another one like that we were like, why?
That we're like, we've been walking for 30 minutes. What the fuck, you guys?
No, literally.
Which like it's a great idea, but it is the case of like things are too spread out for you to just be able to walk to. And that was partly why we were able to go out afterwards, was because like we could just like, put everything in the shop, clean up the next day, and then just fucking walk down and hang out with friends.
It was so much fun.
Great. I'm glad I'm boring you that much.
No, you're not. I'm sorry. Whatever.
But yeah, so overall, I would say it was a great day. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think we had a very successful grand opening, and I think you're right. Like not being able to collect footage, we were just having a good time. It was a really good day.
Yes.
And there were a lot of people. Like, not, I'm not saying that to like be like, oh, there were a lot of people. Pat our backs. But like, no, there were a lot of people.
Well, no, and I think like that was the beauty, is that like the reason there were a lot of people is because like the community really came through.
Yeah.
Like so many of our friends and clients like promoted us, and then we ended up on Reddit.
Yeah, we ended up on Reddit, and people from Reddit came to our event.
Yes.
And that was extra cool, because I was like, oh my God, like it works. Like that like subreddit works. And well, guess what? I didn't even post on the Reddit. I could have, but I didn't. Somebody else posted about us.
Yeah, on the like cool. What to do this weekend in Hamilton. And so it was really just showed that like true like communal nature of everything, that like it takes just like a couple people caring, and then it just spreads out from there. Yep. So I think that was like something that I really was like basking and sitting in, was like, holy shit, like this is what I've like been dreaming of. This is what I bitched about in Reno, where I was like, dude, it just sucks because I know that places like this exist, and I know that people will be like, well, some people can't be happy anywhere. But like that wasn't the case. It's just that Reno wasn't my community.
Yeah.
And then here we are. And like, it's not to say that that I didn't have phenomenal clients there, and I didn't have people that I loved there.
Totally.
But it was the overall community that never felt just like a part of it. Yeah. Whereas here it's been 3.5 months, and you know, everyone that we talk to is like, I just feel like you guys have been here forever. I'm like, me too, dude.
Like, thank you.
I feel like I've been here forever.
When I like think about moving to New Zealand and knowing that like it felt right, I'm so validated.
Yes.
And like, I think, the grand opening felt very validating, because people in Reno would always ask us like, why New Zealand? Why New Zealand? And like, I had nothing else to tell them except for that fluffy shit of like, you know, it just felt right.
Yeah.
Like something about New Zealand felt like it was meant to be. And that's so fucking cliche, because it's the same old like, oh, when you know, you just know.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's how I felt. And like, now that we're here, I had no idea that like, I knew that I was changing my life for the better, and that was the point of moving. I just didn't know it was going to be this good.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And that's exactly how I feel, where I'm like, no, it's like, hey, I knew that there was like a place in which people would like love our art for like exactly what it is. And would like connect with us as like individuals, but also as like business partners and like besties. And it feels like that has been so true for this. Absolutely. And just like walking, like I was walking to work this morning, and just walking to work, and it's like drizzling tiny bit. And I was like, I'm so fucking happy. And it just feels so good that even when it is like, yeah, we've been exhausted this last week, like prepping for it. I also just knew that like, however it turned out, it would be great no matter what, because like, we are just encapsulated by like so much love, and it feels like we can't fail. Like that's what it feels like to me, is that like there's just no way of like actually being like, oh no, like it's not like precarious or scary. Whereas in Reno, it was like we had this tiny little like pocket, but it felt like I was always waiting for like the rug to be pulled out. And here I'm like, dude, I just feel so like good.
Yeah. I feel solid. Yeah. Like I feel like secure.
And my friendships and like relationship with people feel stable and easy.
Yeah. Very stable. And like, I don't know how to put it, but other than that, like insane. Good for us. We did it. We did a grand opening. We moved to a different country. We started up our business again. Yeah. And we met new friends, and things are going well. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've met tattoo artist friends too.
I can't believe that
makes
shit.
me really happy.
Y'all are so nice. I genuinely am like, oh my God, I still have tattoo artist trauma.
And we had somebody reaching out for a guest spot. And when we were in Reno, I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't know if I ever want to do a guest spot. And here we are. Someone is already like, hey, can I do a guest spot? And I was like, absolutely.
You're like, sure.
Let's go.
Why not? They're from California, which is so amazing and great. And they're just like, I'm moving to New Zealand soon. And I'm like, that's so cute.
Yeah. It just feels like everything, is just falling into place. So.
How cute.
I'm really grateful. Okay, so what was your win for the week?
I think my win for the week is taking time to rest, actually, after the grand opening. And I still feel, there's a part of me that still feels a little bit guilty, because I'm like, oh, I haven't done everything that I wanted to do today. But I also am like, it'll be out when it's out. Like, I know that, like, there's this thing with social media where, like, you want to strike while the iron is hot, and always, like, if there's an event, I was really big on like, I have to post the next day. Otherwise, like, we're going to lose all traction. And here I don't feel that way. Here it's very much like it'll get done when it's meant to get
island done. Time, baby.
Yeah, it is island time. Yeah. I mean, honestly, people are just surprised that I'm even like reposting stories.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's not as high of a demand as, like, for example, the West Coast Californian social media setting.
Which I think it's because of,
I think it was
Hollywood.
Like, yeah, Hollywood. I think it is true. And, like, I have to remind myself that, like, people who do that, like, actually have people working for them. It's just the two of us.
Yep.
So that's kind of my win for the week, is just taking time to rest, and then, like, also, like, balancing out my energy with how much I can get done.
I love that. That's
how
great.
about you?
My win for the week is like drawing more. Like I feel so like energized to like actually create.
Totally.
And I talked about this a little bit on last week's episode, that I've really like struggled with like being an artist. Because it was so fucking just heartbreaking being in a space that like no one gave a shit. And just like giving in that when I'm like, oh, I feel like drawing, and just drawing for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And now I get to draw drag queens. Y'all have no idea how fucking happy I am about this.
That's so exciting.
Little baby me, she couldn't. When I ask little 12-year-old Lou that lives inside of me, like, are you happy with your life? She's like, you are the coolest person ever.
Totally.
Coolest. Yeah. So I'm like living my best life.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be so much fun.
Okay. So one thing you're proud of for today.
One thing I'm proud of for today, honestly, responding to emails. I don't know why, but it takes a lot of energy out of me. So does doing laundry. Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
So does doing laundry. So
I know. I do feel bad when I have to be like, hey, you have to, like, I sent you a client email, but they're traveling to get tattooed by you, so you have to respond.
No, that's fine.
Because I know how hard it is. Like, for you to respond to emails. So I'm like, I am so sorry, but you do have to respond to this one.
No, that's fine. That's totally fine.
Like 3 emails and you're fucking wrecked.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
like me, 1 reel and I'm done. I'm dead.
Yeah,
it takes so much.
Meanwhile, I think my record was 7 reels in 24 hours.
Yeah,
that was
which
pretty
is
impressive.
Nuts.
Yeah, well, once you get hyperfixated, then you just got to see it through. You know, you see it through to the end.
Never hyperfixated on an email.
Fucking email. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You've never. I love clearing out the inbox.
I'm so glad that you do, because I hate it. And I also hate doing the accounting shit. Like, I'm just...
Oh, it's so good. Numbers are the best.
Hate it. I
love it.
Could go the rest of my life without ever talking to anybody about banking stuff. I hate it. I hate it
That's okay.
so much.
I got it for you.
Thank you. Anyways. What? Thanks for listening to the podcast.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I just want to answer.
Yeah,
we'll see you guys back next week.
What are you proud of today? What are you proud of today?
You're like, anyways, I'm over. Baby needs a nap.
Yeah.
She is done.
Baby's done recording.
Yeah, baby's done recording. So you'll have to tune in next week to find out what I'm proud of.
Bye. Bye.